So in 2024 and 2025, when I came to Bethel, obviously brand new system, our quarterback, our starting quarterback wasn't even with us until August and had never played a collegiate snap before that season, was only a sophomore. And so we went as basic as we possibly could. We just said, hey, there's going to be pre-snap access reads and post-snap access reads, and they're all going to be the same routes. Essentially, like, hey, let's say we run hitches on both sides. So we just put all of our receivers on hitches. Those are pre-snap. If I love them, I can catch and throw, or they're post-snap, I can mesh and throw, right? That's all we're saying right there. And our completion percentage skyrocketed. So we've been 71% completion over the last 2 seasons with almost 1,000 passing attempts. We're in like the 900, 940, 950 yard attempt range right now. So 71% completion. So I think for me, again, working backwards of like, hey, we want to be really simple, let our quarterback be a playmaker and play fast rather than kind of paralyze him by giving him too much stuff to think about. I think those are some mistakes that maybe I made early on. So as we jump into this now, we're going to talk about the 3 different types of RPOs we run. So we run underneath RPOs. So when we say access, we have to say, hey, access means there's space. Where's the space that we're attacking? So when we say underneath, that means we're attacking the space underneath the defense. So if I'm the quarterback, I'm saying, hey, those defenders are deep. I'm going to throw this ball because I've got space underneath, right? And so how do we do that? Hitches are going to be our main way. So obviously, basic one-man hitch is going to be our first one. I'll show one clip of this. So you look here, our quarterback comes to the line. We've got, six, really, I'm sorry, in this case, 5 blockers. All right. We've got guys, we're only going to focus on the bottom here. We've got a single hitch. He's going to catch and throw this ball because he's just got a bunch of space out here. Catch, throw. We work this every day, individual drills like catch and get the ball out of your hands. Right. So pretty simple. How do we dress that up now? All right. And so again, I'll progress as we get further into this. You're going to see more and more funky looks. We use a ton of formations, motions, and we do it up tempo. So we try to make it really hard on the defense with how we're aligning, right? Because if our system's going to be simple, we've got to try to create some confusion somehow, right? Make those guys play slower. So now we get into a condensed set, and now this receiver at the top of the screen, he's just going to run the hitch, but he's going to run it from a condensed setting, right? So now our quarterback says, hey, pre-snap, I can't really say for sure that that's going to be available to me, but post-snap, let me confirm it. So watch him go to the mesh right here. Okay, great. I see this backer stepping up. I'm not really reading a defender. I'm reading space. Do I have space to be able to complete this hitch 90% of the time? Yes, I do. Catch, throw, and then the coaching point for receivers on all this stuff, we teach our hitches as 3 big steps, 2 quick steps. So 3 big vertical, 2 to snap that off. But as soon as they catch the ball, they got to get vertical right away. So you'll see our guys, as soon as they catch the ball in this film, they are getting vertical. We're not trying to dance. We try to get as many yards because, again, these are just extended run plays for us. We're trying to get as many yards as we possibly can. So can we catch a 5-yard route, but turn it into an 8-yard gain just because we get vertical right away, right? So now 2-man hitches. We're going to be able to get a little bit, the more receivers we add, the more funky we can get, right? So I'll start top of the screen here. I'll start with just a base. All right, we're going to throw just the inside hitch right here. We will throw the outside one as well. But here's a really good example of like 3 big, 2 quick, snap it off, catch, and get vertical right away right now. All right, let me turn off my how we call our plays and stuff. All right, so get vertical right now. I mean, I think we get, a 15-yard plus gain on this play, right? All right, now we're going to go from 3-by-1 extended. We're going to motion a receiver across. We're typically an 11 personnel team. This year in 2024, we got a couple tight ends injured, so we are in some 10 personnel stuff as you watch this. But hey, we're going to motion this guy across. Again, try to create some confusion for the defense. Obviously, they're moving around. So Cooper here, our quarterback, he's going to say, hey, I need a post-snap read this. Catch. All right, let me just quickly, his eyes get out here, just like a shooter in basketball. This guy is a point guard on the basketball team. Our quarterback is of like, hey, distribute the ball to your playmakers and take good shots. In our case, make good passes, right? So here, boom, catch. I got space. And then Micah does a great job of getting vertical, get a 10-yard gain off it. All right, now going to start to get more funky, right? So now this is from this year. We align 2 guys all the way up here on the sideline. We're always going to use the width of the field. We want to use all 53 1/3 of this just to make sure, again, we're trying to space the defense and create open cavities that we can expose and be able to get completions, right? Easy yards. So here, start our receiver at the top. This is the guy who was a backup quarterback for us last year, who led the country in catches this year. Right, so now, boom, get vertical. All right, I can see if I'm Cooper right here, I've just got a bunch of space, right? This backer's kind of declared himself as a box player. Great. He's really treating this as a post snap. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about, like, if you see him mesh and throw, he's thinking post snap. If he catches and throws, he's thinking pre-snap. If we're going to pre-snap throw it, a lot of times we'll just tell our back. We have a mechanism that tells our back to sit so that way they don't run into the quarterback, right? So just some of those questions that we'll get a lot of times on this. But catch, throw, and then again, Albert does a great job. Get vertical right here. Get us a big gain. If you're telling me, hey, we can get a 12-yard run on that play, I take it in a heartbeat. Why not take a 12-yard hitch for the exact same thing? All right. Over here on the right side, so now we start these receivers stacked. All right. So now let's motion a receiver out. You can see this outside linebacker, he doesn't widen a lot, but he widens enough right here, creates a cavity inside. Cooper says, hey, pre-snap, I know I've got this. You can see him. He's told the running back to sit right here. That's why the running back doesn't mesh with us. Catch, throw, and then Micah does a great job again of getting vertical. All right. We're going to work every day in practice one-on-one tackling drills with our defense. So we don't go to the ground, but we do tag off, right? But we're going to put our skill players one-on-one with a defender, and you've got to make that guy miss. So we work that every single practice from spring all the way through the season. And so that way our guys are prepped and really good at like, hey, can I go get some extra yards for us by making a guy miss, making his life hard to tackle me? All right, bottom of the screen right here. See, again, these guys start stacked. Now we're motioning out. Now this defender doesn't adjust at all. So Cooper says, okay, great. I'll just take my outside hitch then. All right, again, just taking base, easy throws. If he doesn't like it, if he doesn't feel like there's a 90% chance or better to get a completion, hand the football off. Sometimes we will hand off into outnumbered boxes. I think in my experience, there's too many times where we've handed off into a box that is even and we've gotten a 0-yard gain, and we've handed into a box that's outnumbered, and we've gashed them for a big gain, right? There's too much variability, which is how teams are going to fit stuff, how you block stuff, just how good your running backs are, right? And so for us, we are always going to say, hey, quarterback, we just want you to make the smart plays, right? Take throws when you got them, hand it off when you don't, and we're going to live. Again, that puts it back on me of like, hey, we get a bad game because we were outnumbered in the box. That's my fault. That's not making him think too much and that kind of stuff. I'd rather live with it being on me than being like, oh, hey, like our guy's trying to do the right thing, but it's just too hard for him, right? All right, so here another example of like we're going to motion our receiver out. All right, he's going to cross the corner wide, and it's great. Catch, take the easy, take your space right there. All right, here, now we're going to condense these guys. We're going to send one receiver out, one receiver vertical. We're just reading the hitches. I know this guy isn't technically running a hitch up the field, but we treat it the same as like this is a hitch for us and this is a hitch for us. We actually, in terms of terminology, we call it the same thing. Our guys know how to run it based on the formation, but we call it the exact same thing. So we don't have a different name for all these different concepts. We call it the same name over and over and over. So it's easy for our quarterback and our receivers just know, hey, if I'm stacked, this is what I do. If we're condensed, this is what we do, right? We teach those things early in camp and then run them throughout the season. So here, two condensed guys, man, his backer widens a little bit. You can tell he's got a post snap. Anytime you're condensed, you've got a post snap read it because there's not enough space to know, hey, pre snap, I've got it, right? So now, hey, post snap, great pull, throw. Receiver again does a good job of getting vertical right here and going and getting yards.